In this section, we're going to solve absolute value equation and inequalities. So first of all, uh, we are going to talk about what is absolute value. So here in this problem, absolute value of x is 5. What does that mean? So x is any variable, any number. So absolute value of that number is 5. So first of all, let's talk about absolute value. This symbol means you are looking for absolute value of anything. That means you are looking for distance of that thing, that expression from 0. Since it's a distance from 0, the absolute value would be always positive. So let's say if you are looking for a number whose distance from 0 is 5, then on the real number line, the real number system, in our class college algebra, we're talking about the real number. So on the real number line, find out numbers which is 5 distant from 0. So there are two possibilities. One is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. That distance from 5 and 5 to 0 is 5. So another number is just opposite direction. Negative 1, negative 3, negative 4, 5. This distance is also 5. So whenever we discuss, distance of any number or any expression from 0, um, you know, that there are always two possibilities. To the right side and to the left side, you always have two options. Okay, so 5 units from 0, there are two numbers, negative 5 and positive 5. So if absolute value of x equal 5, that means the solution for that equation, because there are two numbers, negative 5 and positive 5, which these numbers are 5 distant, 5 unit, from far from the 0. So that's the meaning of absolute value. Let's talk about inequality. If we are looking for a number whose distance is less than 5, we are looking for any of those number which is 5 distant, which is under the 5 distant from origin. So as you can see in this graph, in this picture, there are number from 0 to 5, less than 5, which would be 5 distant, less than 5 distant from 0, less than 5 unit from the, but that happens on the both side. So any number in between negative 5 and positive 5, you pick any number. For example, let's say positive 4. Positive 4 is 4 distant from 0. It's less than 5. So any number which is 5 distant, less than 5 distant from origin would be the solution of this equation. Here for this one, any number which is more than 5 unit far from the origin would be the solution of this equation. This inequality means, if you look at here, anything greater than 5 or anything less than negative 5 would be more than 5 distant from. So solution for this inequality is anything in between negative 5 to positive 5, whereas the solution of this inequality is anything less than negative 5 and greater than positive 5. So for this one, we need to use the union sign. Negative infinity to negative 5 represents the number from this side, and union positive 5 to positive infinity represents the number from this side. So there are three situations. If you have given any expression, absolute value of that expression equals c, means the expression here, in this case that's a u, could be negative number or positive number. If you have given, absolute value of something is less than some constant, that means that something is in between negative of that constant to positive of that constant. Finally, absolute value of anything is greater than some constant. That means that thing itself might be less than of negative of that constant or greater than positive of that constant. So think about this. Anything less than 5 means anything in between negative 5 to positive 5. Anything greater than 5 means, absolute value of x greater than 5 means anything less than 5 or anything greater than 5. That's what this summary are for. So while solving the equation or inequality, we're going to keep this thing in mind. So first equation, absolute value of x minus 6 is equal to 8. So we are going to find out the value of x for which x minus 6, the distance of x minus 6 from 0 is 8. So as you can go back here, if there is absolute value equals some constant, then you can always divide them into two different cases: positive value of that constant or negative value of that constant. So in this case, we're going to do the same thing. X minus 6 might be equal to positive 8, or x minus 6 might be equal to negative 8. Okay, because of this situation. Now we need to solve both of them. So just add 6 here. It gives you x equal 14. We add 6 here, x equal negative 2. So there are two solutions for this, equation. The value of x could be 14, or value of x could be negative 2. It here. 0 is here, 14 is here, and negative 2 is here. The distance of the difference between x and 6, which is 14 and 6, would be 8, right? We know that. And distance between x and 6 again, which is negative 2 and 6 is somewhere here. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. The distance between negative 2 and 6 is also 8, and distance between 6 and 14 is also 8. So this distance is also 8, and this distance is also 8. That's the meaning of this equation. Okay, sometime you might have this equation like this. So first of all, bring everything on the one side except the absolute value. So we have to subtract 5. That gives us 6x minus 1. Absolute value of that thing is 7. So now we're going to use this first situation condition. We can write down 6x minus 1 equal positive 7, or 6x minus 1 equal negative 7. Now we need to solve for x. For solving for x, just add 1. Both sides 6x equal 8. Just divide both sides by 6. So x equal, if you simplify this, it will be 4 over 3. And do the same thing here, just add 1. This time the right side it would be negative 6. If you divide both sides by 6, and if you simplify, x would be negative 1. So there are two numbers for x, which is 4 over 3 and x equal negative 1. Both of them will satisfy this equation. We are looking for a value of x such that the absolute value of this expression is negative 11. Remember, this is a little tricky question. Absolute value of anything means distance of that thing. This anything means we are talking about real number. Distance of that expression, distance of that real number from 0. Absolute value means distance. Distance cannot be negative. No negative. No, that's not possible. Distance should be always positive. But this equation says absolute value of something is negative 11. So that means that's not possible. That means there is no solution. Here, absolute value of this expression q plus 5 is less or equal 9. So we go back to this second condition, absolute value of something is less than some constant means that something should be in between negative of that constant to the positive of that constant. So we are going to use the same thing here. This q plus 5 should be in between negative of 9, positive of 9. So because here is a less or equal sign, so we have to use the same inequality. So this is the inequality problem, compound inequality. Solve this, just subtract 5, then it gives you negative 14 is less or equal to q is less or equal to 4. So the solution for this one is anything in between negative 4 to positive 4, including negative 14 to positive 4, including negative 14 and positive 4. So the solution would be negative 14 to positive 4, including them. Okay, so this is the last problem here. Absolute value of something is greater than 6, so that means this something which is x plus 3 might be greater than 6, or this something is might be less than negative 6. That is what we have from third situation. If absolute value of something is greater than some number, that means either that expression is less than of negative of that value, or greater than of that constant that value. or or so now we need to solve this. Subtract 3. So x is greater than 3. Subtract 3. X is less than negative 9. Since there is or sign, so that means we need to find the union of these two. X is greater than 3, union x is less than -9. So less than -9 means it's starting from -infinity and goes up to -9, not including -9. Greater than +3 means it's starting from +3, not including +3, goes up to +infinity. So we need to find the union of these two. Solution would be union of, since this negative number comes first, so we have to write down this negative interval union, and then from 3 to +n. So this is the answer. Okay, here, so that's the answer. So in this case, we are looking for the value of x for which this absolute value of this expression should be greater or equal to -3. Remember, absolute value means it's always either positive or 0, right? There is no way that absolute value could be negative. Okay, so this absolute value would be always greater than -3, because the only case absolute value means always, absolute value means either positive or at least 0. Absolute value is always greater or equal to 0. So in this case, -3. So absolute value should be always greater or equal to -3, no matter what x you pick. So the solution would be any x, meaning all real number. Okay, because if you pick any real number and put it here, that would be always either positive or 0. So it would be always greater than -3. Okay, so the answer for this problem is all real numbers.